imagine one coach for the two does lead to that closeness that we witnessed between the men's and women's programs, with the men cheering the women on this morning.
I did that early in my career at Colorado. It's an interesting dynamic. It's kind of cool because the teams end up supporting each other.
Buffs in Boulder, Colorado, and the Longhorns in Austin, Texas. And a nice bounce back game here for Ruth and Back so far.
Ruth and Beck really have to hold serve here, which they do.
So they'll claim their first game.
They're still down one break. They didn't want to go down two. That could be the end.
As the Islanders with an early advantage both on number one and number two doubles. And it's the Lumberjacks who have a slight edge in a third game after the first two games were split over number three doubles here in Beaumont. Really appreciate everybody here in Beaumont, including the Southland Conference staff, all their flexibility. Yesterday, of course, the men wound up concluding that long day over on the campus of Lamar, now back here in town.
Started at Beaumont at the public park, where the tennis center in Beaumont, where they are right now. Ended up moving to Lamar. Again, we watched squeegeeing, raining, squeegeeing, raining, squeegeeing, raining, little blow drying, and squeezed it in. 10 hours of waiting for these players to play 2 hours, with almost a record time for a match to finish.
Again, the Islanders dropped the double point to 6th seed Southeastern in the quarterfinal. Easily took care of business against Northwestern State, claimed that doubles point, and quickly swept the singles courts for the 4-0 win in the semis to get their way back to today's championship final. Looking for their 8th NCAA tournament appearance. They went 4 straight years before Stephen F. Austin ended that run last year.
See if the Islanders can consolidate their break there. Not a good start with the double fault. But Steve Moore got under his hat here. New rules as of the first few years. Coaches can coach between points now, as long as they don't interrupt play.
That one looked wide. It was.
Not sure why you would miss wide there, because there's plenty of space and there's not much risk of the teammate crossing there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Steve Moore agrees with Jeff Moore.
Yeah, I would think so.
When it comes to coaching, less is more is less?
More and more and more and more.
That's for our understanding, no relation.
I've known Steve since he was an assistant at Texas Tech.
Again, this is a reminder, student athletes call their own points. Stephen F. Austin called that prior exchange out before going into the net. If needed, our judges can intervene.
Lot of errors, unforced. Typically, the server's partner would not be on the baseline with the server.
Again, Islanders on the top two doubles courts lead 2-1. It's Stephen F. Austin leading 2-1, looking to claim their third game over on number 3 doubles this morning. A reminder, we'll try to take a peek around at all the courts throughout the day, but you can follow along with the live stats. Go to the Southland Conference website, navigate to their championship page, pull up tennis.
Great overhead there. Very assertive. Love seeing that. Pounded the middle on the first one to pull both Islander players together and then put it away with an angle. Not sure how I feel about coaching after every single point, but it seemed to be working there.
Might be a side effect of the 2 coffees.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Islanders not letting this game slip away just yet.
In a match like this, I have no idea who's going to win. I don't know that there is any such thing, to be honest, of momentum besides the score itself. It just looks like survival. Again, good doubles points are very, very short, and everybody's at the net.
And both these teams dropped the doubles point in the quarterfinal, claimed it in the final. That one long from SFA.
I feel for these coaches because, again, they're getting good players who are very talented and they care and they want to win. They just haven't played that much doubles. The net play is not emphasized at the junior level, so they have to, quote, meet them where they are.
Again, no ads, so a big point here. Can the Lumberjacks erase the early deficit with back-to-back games?
Good volleys, good volleys.
They play it off the net.
Long point. Lobs, ground strokes. Islanders consolidate the break. Up 3-1.
What a battle.
Yes. In really good doubles, the partner is supposed to, the server or the returner and the returner are supposed to put their partner in position to win the point. So, for instance, here, SFA serving, the server is supposed to put the serve someplace that will allow server's partner to potentially cross and end the point. Let's see what the server's partner does here. It's all doubles. Good put away. That's a great assertive play by server's partner. That's what you want to see. The reason that the partners are in position to end the point is that they are closest to the net, at least typically. That's where you want them.
This is the only doubles court now that hasn't split the first 2 games. Both number 2 doubles and number 3 doubles are even 2 games apiece. Each in their 5th game are dead even as well. We'll remind you Over on court 2, Ana Paula Chavez with teammate Avery Kinsey going up against Adri Jimenez Casado and Victoria Sedova, where they are last checked at 30 all, 2 games apiece. Again, in doubles, we just play one set, so the moment one court finishes, we'll have a quick cascading of courts typically. It'll be a quick wrap to doubles. And I have a feeling not much is going to separate what determines which team gets that doubles point.
It's really tight on all 3 courts.
Mamentova, along with Ianaku Yoryu. Over on number 3 with Tarako and Fuenzalida. Again, also even up at 2 games apiece.
The first team that comes away with a victory puts a lot of pressure on their opponent. And the opposing team has to win both matches.
All right, for the first time today, let's navigate next door. Again, 3 courts of doubles underway. Kinsey and Chavez here in the near court, Casado and Sedova in the far court. As that 5th game was close, but the Islanders able to inch back ahead.
Good doubles there. Kinsey hit a great first serve. Again, not trying to hit an ace, not trying to do too much, but trying to set up her partner, Chavez, who put the ball away. Let's watch Chavez at the partner position now. Second serve. This is where the returning team has an opportunity to be aggressive on a second serve. They're going to get a good look at it. Instead, she stays back, hits it right down the middle, and Chavez is all over the net. That's really good doubles.
Avery Kinsey from the greater Dallas area from Rockwall, Texas. Ana Paula Chavez from Mexico, a transfer from Utah State. Both of them in their junior years with Stephen F. Austin. The 2 of them defeated back in February, Jimenez and Sedona on their doubles court. 6-0. Already a better battle this time around with Sedova paired up with Casado.
Quick service games are welcomed. What the receiving team wants to do, which is not happening in this case on the Islanders' part, is push, make the serving team work at the very least. Get them to wear down. If you can't break them, at least make them work to hold.
And Adriana Jimenez Casado, the junior, paired with the freshman Victoria Sedova.
Chavez went a little bit early there and opened up the court. See what happens here. See if Chavez is active at any point. The lob over her head. I think she could take that on an overhead. And Chavez and Kinsey hold.
We saw Chavez last year in that championship squad for Stephen F. Austin at #1 doubles with Cave. They defeated Mikutin and Romanowskaya, who are back this year for the Islanders. 6-4 on their doubles court. Again, a part of that Stephen F. Austin win over the #1 seed, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. This year, they both come back as the 3 and 4 seed. Islanders, the 3 seed this year.
Interesting that the SFA team plays with the receiver's partner up again in a position to be aggressive. Love it. Puts pressure on the other team.
Nobody running away with any of these courts. We did see earlier Mikutin and Romanowskaya, who among the returning pairings from last year's runner-up squad, in some tight battles, they've been able to get more often than not those critical points to go their way. They lead 4-1. So at the moment, the only court where you might have a favorite It'll be over at number 1 with Mikotin and Ramanouskaya for the Islanders. All these others are nail biters.
Great, great doubles point. Both players at the net love it. That's quality doubles. They hit the volley down the middle to draw both opponents in. Great recovery there. And then when they had a chance, right here, we go for the angle put away. Beautiful. Beautiful doubles.
Great work by the Texan Kinsey. Kinsey has not been playing in singles very often this year, though she did play at 5 singles during the regular season against the Islanders. But when you're either focused on just doubles or perhaps later on just singles, you imagine that much more effort and energy trying to make the most of your moment out there.
Big break opportunity here for SFA. Let's see if Chavez can be active from receiver's partner. She looks eager, doesn't she, Lincoln? Like she wants to be at the net. She wants the ball. So important. What is this formation for the Islanders? Serving.
Not your traditional eye.
No. Okay, which way is she going to break? I guess. Trying to keep SFA guessing. I don't think SFA doesn't look overly worried about that strategy. All right, big opportunity to break here. Good aggression by the Islanders.
That'll keep this game going.
And one thing I noticed with their Islanders men last night, same thing. When they get down, they become even more aggressive. Their response is great.
A fault on the first serve.
Here we go with a game of chess by the Islanders again. Which way will she move after the serve? Oh, okay. Not very far.
It pays off.
Beautiful shot down the alley.
Deuce.
Not an easy shot.
And one of these two teams is about to go up 4-3, but who?
Chavez got to be ready to pounce on that.
The nature of it all, you're so close, both these teams, to winning a championship, and at the same time, you're so close to your season coming to an end by this afternoon. One of these two teams will go on to the NCAA postseason. The other one will see a great year come to a conclusion. Islanders win against Stephen F. Austin this year was in Corpus Christi.
Chavez is hunting. She's hunting. She's ready. She wants it. Oh, they drew Kinsey into the air.
And that's the difference. 4-3 in favor of the Islanders here at number 2 doubles.
They held serve against all odds.
And don't look now. The Islanders lead all 3 courts. As number 1 doubles was 4-1 Islanders, number 3 doubles 4-2 Islanders, and here at number 2 doubles was 4-3, and number 3 doubles Islanders are up 4-2. And here at number 1 doubles, it has just progressed to 5-1 for Mikotin and Ramanouskaya.
And they're serving to close it out. Let's watch server's partner. Beautiful, very assertive. Once again, great first serve. Server's partner puts it away. Good doubles. They want to close this out now. They want to shut the door.
Again, the Swedish teammates. Back the senior, along with Ruth, the sophomore. Here in the near court for Stephen F. Austin. They'll call a fault on the first serve.
Sweden, the home of Bjorn Borg, one of the greatest ever, and Stefan Edberg.
Often compared to Nacogdoches, Texas.
Well, they started a great tradition, and you wouldn't think Sweden would have great tennis players since it's cold there and a lot of indoor, but they do. Again, aggressive at the net. The Islanders close it out. Good doubles, very decisive.
30 all.
When the other team's at the net, you're more intimidated, as you could see there. Head for the bunker.
Islanders could be 2 points away from claiming their first doubles court. They now lead in both of the other courts. So many of these games have come down to just one error, one way or the other. And the little things have all added up, it appears, so far for the 3 seed Texas A&M Corpus Christi. See if Fuenzalida and Busquet for the Islanders over number 3 doubles, up 4 games to 2.
The Islanders look like they're in control in the doubles at this point. Another great shot by the net player. Great overhead. Coach Steve Moore is everywhere.
Well, his number 1 pairing can close out a court right here.
Right here. Get the first serve in, service partner be ready to feast. Oh, great return.
Deuce, chance for Stephen F. Austin to extend their stay here at number 1 doubles. We mentioned, pardon me, that is
over.
Match point.
That ball was out.
So number 1 doubles goes to the Islanders. They just need to claim 1 of the 2 remaining courts. They still lead at number 3 doubles. It is even now at number 2 doubles, 4 games apiece. Here at number 3 doubles, Toronco and Fuenzalida for the Islanders lead Mamantova, and again, her teammate, Ianaku Yoryu. 4 games to 2. It is deuce right now, I believe. So it'll either be 5-2 or 4-3 in a moment.
Plays the middle, play the middle. Wait for the angle.
Chance to put it away, but the net in the way. And that's the difference we mentioned between it being 4-3 and instead it now progressing to 5-2.
That was a very long point. Ended up with an overhead, which is usually what you want. But again, these players just do not look comfortable at the net necessarily.
And every little thing that goes the way of the Islanders, of course, just sparks that cheering section from the men's championship team, fresh off of last night's win, well past 10 p.m. local time. Number one doubles has already been claimed by Mikutin and Romanuskaya, 6-1. It is back and forth at number 2, 4 games apiece, though Jimenez and Casado, along with Sedova, leading that next game, 40-15. And right here, what could have been easily 4-3, instead 5-2. Toronto and Fuenzalida, 1 game away perhaps from putting it into doubles point and claiming it for the Islanders.
They've really dominated the doubles here. Steve Moore's teams, both on the men's and women's, they know what it's like to be in the finals. So in a sense, they feel like they deserve to win.
And Stephen F. Austin had not won without first claiming a doubles point until finally doing so in the quarterfinals. Both these teams dropping that doubles point in the quarterfinals, but usually not the recipe for success.
It can really vary. The momentum it creates can be fleeting for sure.
During the regular season, the Islanders took 5 of the 6 singles courts against Stephen F. Austin, dropping only number 1 singles back on February 28th.
That was a long time ago. Things can change.
It was. There have been some changes in the lineup since then.
Right.
Although a lot of these student athletes were in last year's championship clash.
That's about when we were beginning our months-long drought. So it's been a while. Things can change quickly.
And Josefo Fuenzalida, the sophomore from Chile. She's had different doubles partners this week. She's with Busquet for a 2nd straight round. They combined at number 3 doubles against Northwestern State. Would ultimately fall in that matchup against the Demons. That's she and Halai would pick up a win on their court.
Good overhead. Great volley. That's a great doubles point. Pounded the overhead down the middle, drew the Islanders together in the middle of the court and angled it away. Great angle volley.
All right, so this could do it for the overall doubles point. This will go unfinished. The court next
clinched.
door. Jimenez Casado along with Sedova take it. Mikutin earlier this year. Went up against Ruth at number 2 singles.
Looks like the lineups have changed. FSA made some adjustments because they lost in straight sets at singles 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They won number 1 singles in 3 sets. Lineups can change during the season for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, where did you do more tweaking, in your singles matchups or within your own team with the pairings on doubles?
Well, doubles could change a little bit more as the season went on because you're sort of feeling out which teams work the best together. In singles, I'd like to have the lineup set by early April at the latest. And I usually set we were fortunate enough to know we were going to probably be in the NCAA championships. And so I was setting my lineup for the championships, to win the championship, not to win the regular season dual match in early April.
30 all here after that last point for the Lumberjack.
So we would take some losses early, but I felt that a certain lineup was going to be ideal for the NCAA championships. We had to make a decision sooner or later, and I wanted the players to get accustomed to playing in those positions. This is a little different because these two schools are focused on winning the conference championship as a way to get to the NCAAs. At the higher levels, you'd have 2 or 3 teams from the conference going. So you'd have at-large berths available. Not so in the Southland typically.
Yeah, we see the Southland and some of their other sports really protect their higher seeds as much as possible in their tournaments by giving them multiple buys. And really a good reasoning behind that is if you do have a talented team, you would like for them to get in the NCAA tournament so that maybe they aren't just buried with the lowest seed possible and immediately knocked out in the first round by some powerhouse.
Right.
As opposed to an upset Cinderella who comes through your tournament, who is going to be, as a result, being shipped somewhere where it's more than just an uphill battle, but a mountain of a task.
Yeah, for sure.
But both these teams coming through, knocking off the top 2 seeds. Both these teams entering in the quarterfinals.
It's like Micotin comes through with the deuce point. Again, we play no ad, so instead of regular scoring where you have to win 2 to win the game, so those deuce points become pressure packed. Very interesting. I miss the days when we did no ad and the umpire would hold up the red flag right before the 3-all no ad point, signaling this is it. This is sudden death, and the crowd would come alive. Not sure why they discontinued that. That's a lot of Gatorade right there.
He is ready for the long haul.
I could have used that Gatorade yesterday,
yeah.
Lincoln.
You and our friend Kip McConico
at about hour 5.
Braving the rain for 10 hours, and then the Islander men came through with a 2-hour performance against a team that they had dropped the regular season crown to UIW the last week, turned right back around and avenged that loss, punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
They did. They had won the doubles point. And actually, the two teams had played the week before in the last regular season match. Unlike these two teams on the women's side that played early. Corpus Christi won the doubles point the first time, won it the second time, but came through at number 5 singles, which they had lost before, to be one of 3 singles matches they needed to take to close it out because it's first team to 4. Doubles only gives you 1 point.
Again, Islanders already off to a better start this year. They lost 4-0 in that championship as the number 1 seed to Stephen F. Austin last year. But it's the Islanders claiming the doubles point here in 2026.
Back looks like she's looking for forehands. She's the more aggressive player. Whoops, decided not to come in there.
Micotin last year was at number 3 singles in that championship final. Her court would go unfinished against Gemma Cave. As they had split the first 2 sets, Micotin dropped the first one, but came back to win the second one.
Micotin makes the move and forces or opens up the court for Bach, and she can't stand Prosperity. Too much space, too much time to think. Let's see if Bach can get a forehand here, get something to work off to be aggressive. There she is at the net. Good volley. Another good volley. Got a little lucky there.
Again, Sweden in the near court, Ukraine in the far court, senior versus sophomore respectively. Back last year was at number 1 singles, where her court would go unfinished against Letitia Taranco. And Lumberjacks need to win 4 of these 6 singles courts that are all just getting underway here in their first set. We'll mention at number 1 singles, Tarraco took the first game against Ruth. For the Islanders, at number 3 singles, Mamantova against Romanowskaya. The first game went to Mamantova. Romanowskaya right now threatening to even it up. Fuenzalida at number 4 singles leads 1 game to none. Islanders also took the first game at 5 with Jimenez Casado against Chavez. And then it's Stephen F. Austin over at 6 singles who took the first game, as Ianaku Yoryu up a game to none against July.
Mikatin with the break. Break of serve, early break, early advantage. Of course, singles is 2 out of 3, so there's more time for players to recover. But as you pointed out, Lincoln, SFA has to win 4 singles. It's not easy.
They were able to do it in the quarterfinal. They did not need it in the semifinal when they won the doubles point.
A lot of things can happen, though, in singles. The momentum can shift. You can have players playing very well, their teammates feeding off that energy. It can impact the other courts in a big way. So momentum on one court can shift it on all of the courts.
Islanders have only dropped 1 point this entire week in Beaumont. That was when they won 4-1 against Southeastern. They would take their match against Northwestern State in the semifinal 4-0. A hungry team after being denied an NCAA berth last year for the first time in 5 years. A 7-time tournament champion, 7-time regular season champion in the Southland on the women's side, the Islanders. Lumberjacks looking for their 3rd Southland tournament title. Of course, returning to the Southland a couple years ago.
Back as you wants to get back on serve. See if she can break Mikatin here. Again, she looks like she'd rather be aggressive. Mikatin is going to play the war of attrition. Going to try to wear her back down.
$15 all here in the 3rd game at number 2 singles. Right now, the Islanders lead on 2 courts. 3 of the courts are level a game apiece. Stephen F. Austin has a lead at number 6 singles. Again, Lumberjacks have a little extra work to be done after dropping the doubles point.
Trying to come in, good play. Can she finish it? Unfortunately, misses the top spin volley at the net.
Yeah, had the whole court to work with, and unfortunately can't use the doubles alley here in singles. A big thanks to our entire crew as well in Beaumont. Long day yesterday. 2 venues yesterday. That is not an easy setup, but able to get it done to help showcase the men's final last night between the Islanders and the Cardinals of UIW.
Started here at the Beaumont Tennis Center. For some reason moved to Lamar, maybe because they had more equipment to dry the courts. Not quite sure. Maybe the weather was slightly better. And we watched the courts dry for hours. Because after squeegeeing doesn't dry, it just spreads. So it was agonizing. The players were very eager to get on the court.
Error from Mikatin. We'll give back the inside track to her first game. At number 2 singles. Unlike doubles, when you could allocate basically a coach per court, obviously now the coaches are outnumbered. But most of them find themselves between two courts to share their attention.
Coach Moore has a lot of court coverage, a lot of courts to cover. We haven't seen Coach Lambert yet, have we?
Yeah, and Drew Lambert, first year at the helm of Stephen F. Austin, would love to punctuate it. He's been on the job for less than a full year. I would love an NCAA tournament berth. Deuce here. Will it be Mikatin going up 3-0 in the first set, or will Back pull one back within one? Again, game point here at number 2.
Deuce point, big pressure.
Singles.
On Mikatin to hold her serve. Good first serve. Doesn't really capitalize on it, just is content with making Bach play. Deep balls, make her hit more balls. She does not want to let Bach be aggressive. She wants her to miss. Goes with a slice. Another slice, little drop shot, very.
And that should make it 15-all.
I guess I'm mistaken. I guess that lob was in by Rumiskaya.
Stephen F. Austin right now with the edge. Again, this is all very early here in the first set. They will play to the best of 3 sets here in singles on all 6 courts. But right now, Stephen F. Austin with the edge at 3 singles, 4 singles, and 6 singles. They are even at 5 singles, 2 games apiece, while the Islanders enjoy leads at the top 2 courts with Tarako and Mikatin holding things down at number 1 and number 2, respectively.
Mamentova with another unforced error. Like a turnover in basketball, you want to limit those.
Again, last year, both these teams finished conference 8-1. The Islanders won the head-to-head, would be your number 1 seed. Stephen F. Austin would prevail in that final, a 4-0 sweep. Both a little bit more of an uphill battle this year. Islanders your 3 seed, Lumberjacks your 4 seed. The Islanders looked really good against number 2 seed Northwestern State. Stephen F. Austin knocking off the number 1 seed McNeese. Let's take you for the first time out to, I believe, number 6 singles. Again, Ianaku Yoryu, the senior from New Zealand. We've seen her at 6 singles most of the year, really. For Stephen F. Austin, she fell in Corpus earlier this year on 6 singles to Bousquet. Looking for her first win of the week, matched up against Halai. Juliette July, the sophomore from France. Went unfinished in the semifinal yesterday. Picked up a win in the prior round.
Alcmini looking to go up 2 breaks here.
July did not play in singles earlier this year in February when these 2 teams met.
Coach Moore urging her on. What are those other lines on the court, Lincoln? What would those be?
I don't know, but you could find yourself in a real pickle if you didn't know which lines are which.
So are these players allowed to go into the kitchen? That's what I want to know. Maybe that's why they're not going to the net.
I've seen so many tennis courts just outright replaced with pickleball, so at least these tennis courts still standing.
There's no keeping me out of the kitchen, I guarantee you. War of attrition here on the part of both players. Who can make the least amount of errors? In a really high quality tennis match, the number of winners you hit combined with the number of errors you force, when that total exceeds the number of unforced errors you commit, even by one, you're doing really well. These two are not hitting many winners. They're not forcing many errors. There we go. There was a forced error. That was a plus. They're making lots of errors. That was good. Alkmini taking the initiative. And, of course, that puts her up a double break. So she's a little bit loose, able to do that because she's already up a break. Great play.
For some of our viewers screaming at home, I do think it's more likely that's mini tennis than pickleball based on some of those lines.
No, that's definitely pickleball.
I don't see a kitchen.
Well, it's there. Actually, you're right. It's supposed to be a line closer to that net, right?
Yeah, the lines weren't quite pickleball. Again, right now, Stephen F. Austin has to take 4 of the 6 courts. We are still early in the first set across all 6 courts. The Islanders have the edge on numbers 1 and 2 singles, as well as now at number 5. Stephen F. Austin with the edge of the remaining courts, 3, 4, and 6. We're looking here at 6. Again, where the New Zealander, the Kiwi, with the lead over July.
Alkmini's going with the lime Gatorade. It looks like the electrolytes. Her opponent, Halai, is just sticking with water, which is what most cardiologists have told me. You should just go with the water.
There was plenty of water yesterday.
Unless you're running a marathon, you're sweating profusely, because otherwise there's too much sodium. More sodium than you need. But boy, does that Gatorade taste good, huh?
Especially for announcers who are just sitting still for 10 hours.
Yes. Eating pizza.
Again, right now, overall score, Islanders with the doubles point lead 1-0 at the moment. In the first set across all 6 courts, each team leads on 3. And there's about to be a let point here. As a stray ball has, well, are they going to let that play out? Our judge did not halt play with that second tennis ball rolling over. Perhaps did not believe it affected the point. At least it wasn't a classic rally just unfolding.
No. It'll be interesting to see if either player takes the initiative. As Alkmini, here she comes. She came into the net, didn't work out that time, but over the length of a match, that can really pay off. And I think she's smart to do this because she's up 4-1. She's up a double break. Put even more pressure on. And again, even if your attacking foray is not successful, over time you keep doing it, you wear your opponent down. And then the errors start coming.
And she's looking for her first singles win of the week here in the tournament. What a contribution that would be here at 6 singles. And and Alkmini Yanaka Yoryu. Matched up with Juliet July.
Once again, she didn't come all the way to the net, but she took the ball a little bit early, asserted a little bit of pressure. And Halai doesn't seem to like that, because she had a lot of court to work with there and missed wide. Looks a little bit nervous.
Things have evened up at number 3 and number 5 singles, 3 games apiece. Just as 6 singles decisively for the Islanders in this first set. Pardon me, for Stephen F. Austin in this first set. Things decisively for the Islanders over at number 1 in the first set, 4-1.
Good first serve by Halai. Didn't take full advantage of it. Meany's at the net again. Not sure what happened there with the overhead. It was out.
Again, we did not see July in doubles. So her chance to make an impact here at 6 singles. Tarako is the Islander who steps aside for singles after competing in doubles.
Good depth on the part of Halai. Great depth. Wants to keep Almini back. And it worked. She got the error.
Again, head coach Steve Moore of Texas A&M Corpus Christi matching wits with Drew Lambert, first-year head coach at Stephen F. Austin. Steve Moore in his second stint with the Islanders, a program he started from scratch back in 1998. And almost immediately, it was a program making an impact on the national stage, competing for berths into the NCAA tournament, both on the women's and the men's side. I believe the men yesterday claimed their 11th Southland tournament title. They're looking for their 8th on the women's side here today.
Wow, great play at the net. Great play at the net. Alkmini approaches, and again, putting that pressure on, keeping the pressure on, not sitting back and waiting for errors. Good approach shot, nice angle volley away.
That keeps this 6th game still alive.
And she's got a chance to go up triple break point.
And this would be a court Stephen F. Austin would need, along with 3 others, if they're going to go back-to-back as your Southland tournament champions.
Coach Moore has got Alkmini or Halai hitting deep, taking a little air out of the ball, taking some pace off, and it paid off right there.
We'll step aside. First set still underway. Any of us would qualify for stunt doubles for Top Gun.
It is a slog, as I'm sure you remember.
As hard as it is to constantly get up and down just on a wooden court, that much more difficult on a sand court.
For sure.
There's a reason why we play this sport on grass, on clay, on cement,
right? Not
so much sand.
Right. Well, the great thing about beach volleyball is you can look slow and sloppy and fall all over the place because everybody else is too, and it's all in good fun, and you're on the beach and no stress. All right, let's see if back can get back into this.
Able to deny Mikatin the chance to push us to a second set just yet. Meanwhile, they are now headed to a second set. Number 1 singles, Tarako claiming the first frame against Ruth, 6-1. Stephen F. Austin has the edge on, again, all the other 4 courts. Now, not decisive by any means, and still in the first set. At the moment, Stephen F. Austin thinks they see a pathway to back-to-back championships here in the Southland by winning 3, 4, 5, and 6 in singles.
It's going to be tight.
Right now, one of the 2 courts in favor of the Islanders. Still in the first set here.
Mikatin looking to win the war of attrition. Good, great deep shot there. Mixes in the slice with the topspin. Got a little too cute there.
30-15, back. Takes that one. And Mikatin helped win her doubles court with Romanowskaya at number 1 doubles. They finished first convincingly 6-1 over Ruth and back. So these 2 are going to be tired of staring across the net at each other by the end of the day. And both were at number 1 doubles, both at number 2 singles.
Back, mounting a comeback here. Holding her serve, very important. And then she'll try to break to get back on serve.
Still 5-2. Back needing 1 more point to take the game. Fault on the first serve from back. And Felicia Back from Sweden has won her singles court each of the first 2 days here in the quarterfinals and semifinals. Long on that one. And Mikatin could be 2 points away from claiming the first set.
Looks like.
Actually, pardon me, just did.
SFA looks in control at number 1 and 2.
Mikatin took it 6-2 in the first set after her teammate Tarako took the first set 6-1 against Ruth, each moving on to the second set with the edge. Meanwhile, Mamontova at 3 singles won the first set 6-3 against Romanowskaya. The other 3 courts, 4, 5, and 6, are still in the first set. SFA leads on all 3 of those courts. Taco over Fuenzalida 5-2, but let's take you into the future to the second set. Over at number 1 singles, Ruth and Tarako. It was 6-1 for Tarako for the Islanders.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic, because if the Islanders can hold their significant advantage at 1 and 2 singles, again, they'll go up 3-0 because they won the doubles point, and put tremendous pressure on SFA to have to win all 4 of the remaining singles, which is not easy to do. And as you said, Lincoln, they're up in all 4 of those, but they're close.
I believe it's 30 serving 15 here for the Islanders in this first game, and that should make it 30 all. Tarako has not seen her court finish this week against Southeastern or Northwestern State. Each time she dropped the first set, fared better today against Ruth.
These two are hitting the ball. They're tagging it.
Ruth last year in the championship was at 4 singles, defeated Romanovskaya in straight sets. She's looking for her first win of this week. Of course, she had an uphill battle back in the quarterfinals against UIW against the Southland Conference Player of the Year in Gonzalez, who took care of business for the Cardinals that day. But it wasn't enough to push the Cardinals onto the semifinals. Instead, it was SFA advancing.
Definitely lineup changes since the February matchup. Tarako loves that forehand, and look how she's up in the court, forcing the issue.
Yeah, we did not see Letitia in singles back in February. We saw Ruth matched up with Mikatin at 2 singles that day.
In football, this would be called a hurry on the quarterback, making the quarterback hurry. Tarako is up in the court, putting pressure, making Ruth rush. Hopefully, on Tarako's part, to panic a little bit. Let's see if she can get up in the court again. See, she does not want to give ground, even when the ball's high, unless she absolutely has to. She'd rather be up in the court. There we go. Up even more. Ruth is not giving, Ruth is hanging in, moving her around. Now Ruth is up in the court.
Ruth will take her second game of the day here at #1 singles and take the edge here in the must-win second set for her.
And she breaks serve. This is good tennis. Both players have similar styles.
So 4 of the 6 courts have progressed to the second set. 5 and 6 are both still in tight battles. And the good news for the Islanders, again, who are wondering where that 4th point might come from if they can take 1 and 2. Over at 6, they've leveled at 4 games apiece. Stephen F. Austin did take the first set at #4 singles, Taco over Fuenzalida, and then at 5 singles, it's a tight one, but Ana Paula Chavez still up 5 games to 4 over against Adri Jimenez Casado. You never read too much into how things are going in the first set, but again, usually there's just a handful of defining moments where a point falls one way or another, and those start to add up.
Exactly.
Ruth now here on the near court. Up 1 game to none and a must-win set #2 for her.
We get a better view from this angle what her strategy will be. It appears similar to Tarako. She's a baseliner. She likes to be back, but she's looking for opportunities to move up in the court and force the issue. Unforced error. Once again, for those of you who are charting this match at home, it's called the aggressive margin. If this is your player, if Ruth is your player, every time she hits a forced error, she forces Tarako to hit an error or hits a winner. Total those numbers up and then subtract from that her unforced errors. Anything in the positive is really, really good.
She's starting to find her form here.
And there it is. There's a winner. That counts a +1 right there. Very famous match years ago between Agassi and Sampras at the U.S. Open. Agassi had a +8, only +8, and it was superior. Anything close to 0 is really good. You want to cut down on your unforced errors. Again, not just winners, but forced errors. So errors where you make your opponent move and make an error. Very aggressive there on Ruth's part. She looks determined to turn the tables here and shift the momentum, and she's going to do so aggressively. She's not going to sit back.
Stephen F. Austin back in the driver's seat on 4 of the 6 courts, taking the first set at 3-4 and leading 5 games to 4 at 5-6. We haven't seen the need for a tiebreak just yet, and must win by 2 games to take a set.
Wonderfully aggressive. Great job there.
Talk about a tale of 2 sets so far.
Well, and again, you can respond to being dominated in the first set in many different ways, but she's chosen to proactively turn the tables. She's not going to wait around. Well, maybe Tarako makes some errors. I'll keep the ball in play, see what happens. No, 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 no.
And Ruth looking for her 11th singles win on the year.
Let's see if Tarako can get back on track.
Islanders with the doubles point. That's the only point secured so far in today's championship.
Ruth continues to attack. Good lob by Tarako. Good defense, very good defense. 2 good lobs in a row.
And Tarako in doubles did not see her court finish, though she and Fuenzalida were up 5-2 at the time when the doubles point was clinched.
Great serve by Tarako. Smart serve into the body. It's sort of like an inside pitch in baseball. You want to jam the hitter. That would have broken the bat of most major league hitters. Wouldn't you say, Lincoln? That serve, huh?
It had a little bit of smoke coming off of it.
It did. We're still using wood bats, right?
That's at the professional level we are.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what kind of bat they gave Ichiro on his statue, but it did not hold up.
No.
Into the net.
Ruth is, again, highly energized. She's turned it, the momentum. Tarako should get those shoulders back. Yeah, there we go. Move a little bit faster between points. Let's get it back. She takes a moment, catches her breath. Good job. This is a big point. Get it back to 30 all.
This is one of the 2 courts where the Islanders claimed the first set. Doing so at number 1 and number 2 singles.
Ruth's got a second serve, which usually gives you a good look at the ball. Let's see what she does with the second serve return. She's aggressive. Look how far up in the court she is. Now Tarako takes charge. This is a good angle because as you saw there, Tarako was up in the court, Ruth was back. So Ruth has that feeling that the court's tilted and that she's hitting uphill. Tarako's hitting downhill. It can be very imposing, as it was there for Ruth. Let's see if Tarako still tries to seize the advantage. Tries to, as I like to call it, capitalize. When you have a ball and you're inside the court, capitalize on it. Move your opponent. This is good tennis.
Again, must-win set for Sonia Ruth. Next door, Felicia Back has doing her best, claiming the first game in the second set after dropping the first to Mikatin. There's still two courts that are competing for that first set down there at 5 and 6. Here at number 1 singles. This was the first one to get the second frame underway. Now 4 of the 6 courts are on to set 2. 2 of them favor the Islanders. 2 of them favor Stephen F. Austin. It's the Islanders who just need the overall split. They have the benefit of that doubles point already in their back pocket. You see Ana Paula Chavez and Adri Jimenez Casado level 5 games apiece. One of them about to inch ahead in that first set.
Deuce point here. Big point for Tarraco. Really needs to hold serve here. Gets her first serve in. Good. Both players a little bit more conservative to start out this point.
3 games to none. And a bounce back set number 2 for Sonia Ruth. It's the final day of the Southland Conference Women's Tournament Championship. 6 singles courts still going strong. 2 of them are still in the first set, including here at number 5 singles, though that may not be the case much longer, as Adri Jimenez Casado trying to avoid a tiebreaker if she can close out this game against Chavez. And she does. She'll take the first set. 7 games to 5. No need for the tie break. The Islanders all of a sudden find themselves in the driver's seat here on 5 after this has been a court that SFA was going to need to lean on. And that means only number 6 singles still in the first set. So about to get back underway here at number 5 singles.
Chavez was very aggressive in doubles action. Let's see if she plays a similar style in singles here.
Again, Jimenez Casado, the junior from Spain. Ana Paula Chavez from Mexico.
Tried to be, Chavez went for a little bit too much there. What you want to do with that second serve return, unless you really have an opportunity to make a clean winner, is hit a ball to set up the next ball where you can attack and finish at the net. No need to win it with one shot unless it's wide open. Good ball. Nice, aggressive return there. And you see Chavez was not assuming it was going to be a winner. She was ready for the next ball. Just like in doubles, she seems to want to be at the net. Very comfortable at that.
A little earlier, we were watching the comeback effort in the second set of Sonia Ruth. She has taken the first 4 games in that must-win set 2 for Stephen F. Austin. And she puts up a fight at number 1 singles. At number 2, Felicia Back and Yana Mikatin are even a game apiece in the second set after Mikatin claimed the first set 6-2. Stephen F. Austin on 3 and 4 would claim the first set. And Tanela Taco at 4, up 3 games to none, hoping for a straight set win at number 4.
Here comes Chavez again. She wants to turn the tide here. You know, and there's a good chance she's been inspired by Ruth, who again, as we remember from number 1 singles, she is putting on an exhibition on how you respond to getting waxed in the first set. She has turned the tables. And a lot of times when one player, particularly if it's your number 1 player, competes at that level, it fires everybody else up.
So that first game will go to Jimenez Casado. After, remember, she was able to claim that first set 7-5 and avoid going to the tie break. Juliet July's getting close to taking the first set at the remaining court in the first set over at 6, and she just has 7-5. So the Islanders at 5 and 6 were trailing. Then all of a sudden they were level 5 games apiece, and all of a sudden they have taken 5 and 6 in the first set, 7 games to 5 to move on to the second. And now the Islanders see a pretty clear path to their